Okay, happy Monday, everyone. Hope you had a nice weekend and you didn't stay glued to the charts because we didn't have too many events going on at the weekend in terms of moves. Everything pretty much kept its range set on a Friday. Now, the plan for today is I'm going to start with the news, going to show you what the news is this week. Then I'm going to show you where the DXY and the S&P are, and then we're just going to have a look at the ETH and Bitcoin weekly and daily levels of support and resistance, and then just zooming in on today's levels, because Mondays is generally fake move Monday, and it's not really fake, but it's the end of the move on Friday. So we might see a third top or a double top or even a higher high and then a double top formation, a peak formation, because Friday finished on a high. And then we might see tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, a downtrend starting after Monday. So that's what I believe we're in for this week. Of course, I might be proven wrong if the support is back tested, and I'll show you the support on the 4-hour that I'm talking about. It holds and we're gonna go up and do higher highs on the daily time frame. It could go again both ways. I believe that the more likely scenario is downwards, because we have weekly momentum indicators for both ETH and Bitcoin pointing to the downside. We also have on the S&P daily momentum indicators that are pointing to the downside. This would be my personal choice. If I were to pick a side, it would be to the downside rather than to the upside. I know I sound a bit like a perma bear, but that's me. Again, I'm accountable for that. I take full responsibility for that. So today we have a bank holiday in the States. This doesn't mean that we won't have volatility at the start of New Year time, because the States will still wake up and the algorithm that's controlling the market in the States will still be working. So generally we have lower volume, but we do have a similar type of volatility at the start of New York market. So just because the States are on holiday doesn't mean that crypto is not working. The crypto market is open 24/7. Tomorrow is quite a peaceful day in the news. As you can see here, there's no red flag. Wednesday is when we have a packed day. So we have the CPI in the morning for the British pound. Now, the dollar trades against the British pound. We have seen that crypto and the dollar have gone in the same direction rather than in opposite directions. So it was a bit odd to see this last week. But again, if the pound, if the CPI inflation is going to come down in the UK and the pound's going to go up, that means that the dollar is going to come down. Technically, it would be the coins going up, but we have yet to see that. Again, I'm looking at the GXY, and to me, it's not a trade signal in any way, shape, or form. It's just for me to understand a little bit better what's going on in the market, and it is confusing. I was listening to a video on Real Vision, Raoul Paul's channel, and the thing is that the market at the moment doesn't trust the Fed. So the FOMC chair Powell came out last week and he tried to be hawkish, and the market still lifted. So, and that is because it doesn't trust he as a representative, but what they're doing. And that's a big factor of uncertainty, and also a big factor of ambiguous information in the charts, because again, crypto should be going in line with the stocks. It hasn't done so far. It's gone against the lift. It joined the rally towards the end of the week, but for 3 days it was coming down. We might have specific fundamentals for the crypto market with what's going on with Binance. There's news coming from the European side. I think in France they're accused of money laundering, and again the bad news keeps coming. So just to show you what we have on Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be a big day again. The DXY will be influenced in the morning, and then we have Fed Reserve Chair Powell testifies. So it is the so it's a, they don't say. Okay, the semi-annual monetary policy report, the House of Financial Services Committee in Washington, D.C. Okay, so I've watched the previous testimony. It comes in 2 parts. We have one on Wednesday and one on Thursday. Now, the market will react. 3 p.m. Wednesday, 3 p.m. Thursday. These are the times when we are half an hour into the New York session, and there are times when the market is volatile anyways. During daylight savings time in the summer, it takes about an hour and a half for the market to settle. So I always wait for that half an hour in the winter, an hour and a half in the summer for the market to settle, for all the moves to be made. Now we have Powell testifying on Wednesday. We have Powell testifying on Thursday. The more hawkish he is, the more it's going to lift the dollar. A lot of analysts are saying that the dollar is actually going to lift. That what's happening around with the BRICS and everything. It's not going to dump the dollar. It's going to lift. And then on Friday we have PMIs, flash manufacturing PMIs, which are economic health indicators. Across the board from the US. They come out in the same day, US, sterling, pound sterling, and the euro, the Eurozone, French and the German sides. So big indicators coming out on Friday. So Wednesday is when the show will start happening. We need to consider that for our positions. I preferred to close my positions last week before the FOMC. It was looking like it was going to lift. I was in 2 short positions. The market did initially come down. I was really happy to sit back and watch the show unraveling. The FOMC statement and press conference itself wasn't so eventful in terms of volatility, but what followed Thursday and Friday was very trappy, very ambiguous in the chart. Anyways, so that's on the news side. On the S&P side, I keep showing you in the Discord chats the daily chart. Now it is looking very overbought. Like we have reached the 100 line here in the overbought on the daily. I'm gonna swap over to the weekly to see where that is. There it is on the 100 line. Now both for the S&P, both the weekly and the daily time frames are in the overbought. They have reached the maximum level. Now what we have here is we've come up above the previous high. We are still above it. We close above it. We have closed on Friday. We closed on Friday with all necessary support on the weekly and the daily. We're holding the 200, the 50, the 20, the 5 EMA on the daily, but we have printed a lot of bearish divergences. We have 4 bearish divergences at the moment printed on the daily time frame. What you would say, we're living on borrowed time. I believe that this rally will need a correction to cool off what's happening here in the stock momentum. The stochastic on the daily has crossed down for the S&P. Could we still see another lift to trap more longs, liquidate some more shorts? We could. Anything is possible. The principle of uncertainty is something that I hold very dearly every single day. In the morning, I tell myself anything can happen. Hold that and protect your capital. So it looks to me like the S&P has reached a max and it's going to come down. Whether this is a, let me just block these indicators, whether this is going to be just a correction of this wave. So it seems like we have had, I'll show you the way I do my level monitoring. So I follow a method that I've seen on Steve Mauro's videos. He teaches this in his Forex courses. So if this is the W formation, we have one level up, two levels up. Even though this, again, it's hard to pinpoint this like that. So 1, 2, 3 levels. We should be seeing a peak formation in this region. We don't have yet a peak formation on the daily. I'm so sorry. We don't have yet a peak formation on the daily. So even if these levels are complete, and we have had level 1, level 2 is supposed to be the biggest, and it is the biggest in this measurement. These are not Elliott waves, by the way. These are just lifts and drops and lifts and drops. 2 A's on the way up, 2 A's on the way down. A ends in the letter. So, and I know it sounds simplistic, but simplicity I find is quite beneficial when you're looking at charts. So if this is the peak formation, we will see a peak formation structure here, a double top. It will take a couple of days for this peak formation to show itself. We don't, again, it's too soon to know on the daily time frame whether we have peaked out or not. The stochastic is indicating that, which means we might be coming down for a correction. And the most modest correction would be a 0.5 correction. A 0.5 correction would take us down to this level here, somewhere around here, and you can see it's been quite a level of support and resistance. But in my opinion, a golden pocket right on this level would be very, very intuitive. Like it looks like this, considering the amount of touches here, it looks like this is going to be the level for correction. And if we are drawing a line, a divergence line somewhere around here with a spike through, maybe the way we've dropped here, we might be dropping here. Again, I don't want to project too much because these are projections based on the divergence lines and the fibs and what's happened here on the way down, which is generally what happens on the way up. So 0.5 golden pocket are the levels that I am watching for a possible correction for the S&P. So just to summarize the S&P situation, we are overbought on the daily time frame. It seems like we are going to head down, and it seems like we are going to correct. And we could correct down to the next level of support and resistance, a 702 correction of the lift. Now, the DXY is in a reversing situation. So the DXY is holding support here. It looks like the stochastic on the daily is towards the bottom. It has bottomed out, but it's not yet turned up. Like we haven't had the crossing of the stochastic lines. We don't have any bullish divergence for the DXY to be lifted. We don't have any support on the daily. On the 12-hour though, which would be the timeline that I would be watching to see, to gain a little bit of insight into the daily time frame. Just to check if the daily has any chances of rehabilitating to the upside. On the 12-hour, we have both the RSI and the stochastic RSI lifting up. We have a pivot, but we don't have any support. We need support on the 12-hour for the 20 and on the 20 or the 50 EMA, which are somewhere in this area. They have all crossed down over the 200. This is the 20 EMA crossing down, 50 EMA crossing down over the 200 EMA. This does not look good, but the drop has happened already. So when they cross like this all at the same time, they tend to lose their strength. They're stronger, the EMAs on the way down, when there's space between them and they cross at different times and they push down price action with their crossing. But at the moment, we are just above the 5 EMA, so nothing to write home about. We need to gain support on the 50 and the 20 on the 12-hour initially to think of the DXY lifting. And if the DXY lifts, crypto is gonna dump, because the funds will be shifted into the dollar. And also the crypto trades against the dollar, so the value will drop because the value of, for instance, a Bitcoin will drop because the value of a dollar will go up. So it's gonna take fewer dollars to buy a Bitcoin. Okay, now that's the DXY. So I know I say a lot, especially at the start of the week, and also especially when we are in between we're in between stages in the market. Are we transitioning to the bull market, or are we staying in the bear market? This is the question on everybody's minds, and of course the Pump Boys and the Moon Boys are gonna tell you we're in the bull market. Here it is, and I'll show you the signal which is getting everybody excited. It is Bitcoin closing above the 20 EMA and the 50 EMA on the daily. These two haven't yet crossed, these two EMAs, but it looks like they are strong support on the weekly time frame. So with this strong support, of course, Moon Boys are going crazy about the potential of this move. And yes, Bitcoin is in a bull flag formation. Yes, it is in a downwards descending wedge as well. So there is a lot going for it in terms of potential lift up. And the target for that on my levels would be, let's say, rounding it off to the next grand level, 33K. If we break the line of resistance at 27.3, so keep in mind 27.3 as resistance on the weekly, 24/7 as support on the weekly. As long as these hold, we are still in the same range. If these break, if Bitcoin breaks 27.3, we're lifting up to 33, possibly 35. Here's 35, 36. If the level of support breaks at 24/7, we're looking at coming down at 21.5, 22. That would be a level of correction. Now, yes, we're holding strong support on the weekly. The daily EMAs do not look so strong because we've closed below the 20 EMA and we have these two swivel candles, and it looks like we've gotten rejected here at the 55 EMA. However, daily stochastic is up, daily MACD is up. They are in opposition with what's going on the weekly for momentum. Weekly stochastic is down, weekly MACD is down. So when we have these levels in contrast, this generally leads to more sideways. I don't know if this week is going to be more sideways because we have Powell speaking twice. It's rarely more sideways when that happens, because the volatility will hit one of these levels or both of these levels in a fake move and then the real move. I am not trading Bitcoin at the moment, and I've made a decision not to because of how small the ranges are and the effort that it takes to monitor a third trade. I'm trading ETH and XRP at the moment. It hasn't. I've been trading it over the past month, and I haven't enjoyed it. And every time this happens, I pull back from trading that coin and I focus on trading the coins that have brought in profit because the ranges have been bigger. So, but I am monitoring Bitcoin for the general move of the market. Now, the daily and the weekly are in opposition when it comes to momentum. Let's see what the daily levels hold. So these are the daily levels on Traders Reality. At the moment, we are below the pivot point, but we're holding the daily open and we're holding the psychological low. Breaking the psychological low, breaking the 200 EMA on the 1 hour would signal a short-term downtrend. Breaking the pivot point and breaking the psychological high and the 800 EMA will mean we're going to start the week above the psychological high, and that means an uptrend is to follow. After the day on Monday, after the closing of New York on Monday, we have the start of the week, the trend of the week on Tuesday. So we need to see if New York, when it opens, is going to give us another push to the high and then a drop, or another push to the low, back test the 200 EMA and then lift up. As you can see, we are between the 800 EMA, the blue line, and the white line, the 200 EMA, ranging. And we have been doing so since Saturday when we set a new high. It's a 1.3% range. Again, not worth wasting even an hour of your weekend trading, because even if you get a great golden pocket entry, you'll be in this trade monitoring it, putting mental energy towards its progress, watching its progress for nothing. So be mindful and value your time. Wait for the levels to break to have a trend, because that trend will continue in a bigger space. Okie dokie, let's see now ETH. ETH is in a weaker situation. Now, I know that Bitcoin is generally the leader of the market and it shows us the trends and the directions. However, a while back, when things were more volatile, like we've started ranging, I don't even remember, 2 months ago, and we have these minimal ranges and then snaps and then minimal ranges and then snaps. So ETH a while back used to be the one that moved first, showed the direction first, sooner than Bitcoin. I don't know if this is the same case, again, principle of uncertainty. However, I'm watching ETH on the daily and the weekly time frame, and I'm seeing that it doesn't have the same support. It's clear to see that it has closed below the 20. The 20 on the weekly is rolling down. It's in line with the stochastic and the MACD momentum on the weekly, which are both down. It is holding support on the weekly. It's in let me remove the drawings. No. It's in an ascending wedge. Here it is, and it's right on the point of control on the FRVP indicator. So a lot of confluence around this. However, it is below the 20 EMA on the weekly, and I'm going to shift now to the daily. Below the 20 on the daily. And if we're looking at the at the MACD and the stochastic. Again, the stochastic is this is the MACD, sorry. The MACD is turned up. It seems to have reached quite an inferior level, but there's still space to go. It hasn't yet crossed up. We do have a descending, we do have an ascending difference in sellers. So here's generally this divergence shows a reversal in prices coming. The stock on the daily is turned up as well. So this stock throws a spanner in the works because it's showing a lifting momentum on the daily, but it is again in contrast with what's going on the weekly. In conclusion, we have more arguments for the downside for ETH in terms of momentum on the weekly and the daily than to the upside. To place devil's advocate right now, we have the 20 EMA on the 4-hour short term that has been holding. Now I'm looking at this again the way I posted this pattern on Bitcoin. So these would be level 1, backtest, continuation, level 2, and level 3, peak formation coming down. When are we more certain that this is going to come down? When we see the 20 EMA on the 4-hour break. At the moment, it's not. The stochastic on the 4-hour is pushing down. There's no doubt about that. It still has space to move down. It hasn't maxed out to the downside yet. However, we are still holding the support on the 4-hour. So we're not going to go anywhere until this support breaks. When this support breaks, I think we're going to see the same thing that we've seen to the upside. We're going to see a fast correction to the golden pocket or the 786, which would make this a triple bottom formation. So imagine price action coming down to here and then here. Here it is. We have one space here for consolidation, one space here for consolidation, and this one in the middle. And I'm pretty sure this looks obscene, but that's okay. It's making it more memorable for you. So we have this triple bottom formation. If we correct down to the golden pocket or the 702, and we will be more sure of that correction when we see the 20 EMA on the 4-hour break. I am looking to place a position around the opening of New York. I'm waiting for the first initial move around the opening of New York to place a golden pocket on the 1-hour time frame for entry. We, again, similarly to Bitcoin, we are in between psychological levels. The psychological level band is tight, it's narrow. We are below the pivot point, but above the daily open. If New York is going to backtest down to the M1, hold the M1, we can see continuation towards the M4 and M5, the high ADR of the day. If New York is going to do a back test of the previous peak but not break it, then we might see continuation downwards towards the correction. I will keep you updated after the move on at the start of New York, because I need to see what's going on. And even when sometimes there are two fake moves at the start of the session, it goes both directions in a snappy way. It is where it is at the market. It's close to, in my opinion, it's a shake off. I think, yeah, it's meant to catch liquidity to both sides. So at the moment, it is not a trending market. It is a ranging market, and it's ranging because of how liquidity is accumulating to both sides. We have created multiple imbalances in the books with the fast drops. We've recovered those drops, and now we are back at the same level. Question is, are we going to recover higher, or are we going to correct lower? And once we correct, move up to the upside. Move to the upside. Now that's me for today. I don't want to go on any longer. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat. I'll keep you updated around New York time opening, because we need to see how the market will react in the first hour, an hour and a half, when the liquidity from New York and London merge. Have a great day today and a great week.